Hello, I'm Chris Williams from Read Comics They're Bad For You, the name of my YouTube channel. Or if you're watching this on BitChute, the name of my BitChute channel is Comic Freak. Today I'm doing a reaction video to the Black Widow trailer. I already watched it and I'm only using stills from it to tell you what I think of the movie trailer. A movie, mind you, that should have been made years ago, before Infinity War. But no, Disney is giving us a prequel telling us about Black Widow's past after she's been killed in the main Marvel series. So this is a pointless movie. A money grab for the fans of Black Widow in order to bring in as much money as possible to the MCU franchise. We start out in, I think, Venice, where Black Widow is going to basically be, well, going about how her life has made her into a superhero and where she's been, the friends and family she's made, and how she left people over in, well, Russia, who, well, still mean a lot to her, but, well, she has come to blows with over the years. Well, one of the first things Black Widow does is she basically looks at herself in the mirror and thinks back through her past, is basically remember her time at the Red Room, the organization that trained her to become a super assassin, to be able to infiltrate areas without anyone knowing she was there and to get out as quickly as possible after her target has either been eliminated or she's obtained the information necessary to complete her mission. That is who Black Widow was. She remembers fighting training. She remembers learning to fire a gun. She remembers how to be taught how to end someone's life with a flick of her wrist. And she looks at herself in the mirror. She also remembers how this led to her becoming a superhero after she defected from Mother Russia to become part of Nick Fury's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and then straight on to the Avengers and fighting alongside Hawkeye and Captain America. We see her memories flash by from various fights. We see a scene where she crashes down, where she's falling to the ground, firing her guns. This scene is, I think, from the original Avengers movie, but I'm not quite sure. It might have something to do with Black Widow's past and how she defected from Mother Russia to become an Avenger. But I'm not quite sure. I have to rewatch the original Avengers to make sure if this scene didn't occur there, because I'm not quite sure. It might be the scene before Banner transforms into the Hulk and proceeds to wreck the Avengers and the Helicarrier, but I'm not sure. This might be a scene where she takes on a mission for Mother Russia, and this one mission is the thing that broke her loyalty to her mother country, and she ends up going over to the other side. Why have I mentioned this again? Because in this movie, Black Widow teams up with other members from the Red Room, who also end up basically taking on a final mission in Russia. And all of this has something to do with General Ross. You know, he has a problem with Black Widow because she is actually a foreign agent that has been recruited by Nick Fury to work for S.H.I.E.L.D., but that still doesn't mean he should be trusting someone who probably has, or at least some lingering feelings for the foreign power that she was born into. I mean, Black Widow is, as I've said, a foreign spy who defected over to America. But that still doesn't mean she isn't playing possum. And that's why General Ross has always been wary of the character of that woman, because he knows that spies tend to be picked to be spies because they usually have an undying loyalty to their mother country. And people like those who defect to their countries, well, in his case, he probably is certain, at least on some level, she could be lying and she's always been feeding information back to Russia. Here we see her meeting her sister, another agent or pupil of the Red Room. They fight for a while and then they eventually team up. But the fight we see in the trailer is good. There's a bunch of fisticuffs. They throw each other around and they point their guns at each other. And they manage to dodge the bullets as they're trying to shoot at each other. And they commence to tear the apartment they're fighting in into pieces. They eventually team up and they get out of there and they run across rooftops as they're being followed by enemy agents. Apparently, these agents belong to an organization that oversees the Red Room and its own agents, and they've been sent out to kill Black Widow and her sisters. They eventually team up with yet another agent, and they also team up with Crimson Commando, a rather overweight ex supervillain or superhero that's basically XP of Captain America. We also see a scene of her from, I don't know, this looks like the end of Infinity War or sometime during Endgame, because this looks like Black Widow before she was killed. I mean, she might be remembering everything that happens in this movie before she goes on the final mission to get the Infinity Gem, because this is what it feels like to me. But this is probably maybe the aftermath of that mission where she defected over to America. It's either that or, as I said, it's part of Infinity War or Endgame. But this really feels like it could be maybe a scene where she's basically contemplating where her life has gone after the mission ended that basically ended her career from Russia, where she's contemplating working for Nick Fury and eventually maybe working for S.H.I.E.L.D. and then going into the Avengers. He probably even told her just now, you could join my Avengers initiative. We come to a room with maybe one of the main villains of this movie, as well as another obvious agent of the Red Room. Well, she's female. I think she's the third agent that Black Widow teams up with, just before she goes over and gets Crimson Commando's help as well. Why? Because she's a female, and basically because the Red Room supplies Russia with all its female agents. We haven't seen any male ones. And she's talking to someone who's like an overseer, maybe like the Russian version of Nick Fury. At least that's what it looks like to me, because they're in a war room setting, I think. And that could be also General Ross, but I'm not sure. I think that might be the villain, because this scene in the trailer just screams that this isn't America, because it just feels like a foreign powers, war room. And they're probably discussing what they're going to do with Black Widow, and whether this female agent trusts this guy here and should not just go join her. Here we see the guy from Stranger Things who got the job of playing Crimson Commando, a rather, over-the-hill superhero who might possibly be a super soldier himself and not just an agent like Black Widow. Remember, Black Widow is just a regular person, but a regular person who is an Olympic-level athlete and been trained in combat for years since she's been a child. As I said, he might be a super soldier that was given a super soldier serum like Captain America, at least the Russian version of it, but he's 20 years older than he should be to be going out on missions, and he's basically going to be palling around with Black Widow as her basically idiot sidekick. Now, I don't know that much about Crimson Commando. He's basically a relic from the Cold War, and in the comics, he's probably not that much older than Captain America. Well, I mean Captain America before he was frozen in ice. I mean, he's probably in his 20s or 30s in the comics. But here, he's probably about 50 to maybe late 50s. Either way, we see a scene where Black Widow is in a white suit and she basically completely terrorizes this enemy base, and they basically blow it up with a big wave of snow being thrown around. And the scene is awesome. We see the power that Black Widow has as she basically ends up at one point basically falling from the sky, but basically doing something where she's maneuvering while she's falling from the sky that makes her look like she's flying. She keeps both of her guns close to her body, and she gets ready to use them. Now, there's a word for what she's doing, but I don't remember it. Either way, this movie looks like it's going to be good, and it proves that what all those feminists say that a woman can't get a fair shake in Hollywood is wrong, because this movie is a female-led movie and actually looks good. Unlike Captain Marvel, where the feminists said the same things and said it was such a great thing for women, even though that movie was just a plod to go through. This movie actually looks good, and I might actually go see it. But it's still a pointless movie, because Black Widow should have been made back when the character was still alive years ago. If you like this video, subscribe. Make sure you're still subscribed, because YouTube is going around unsubscribing people, so make sure you're still subscribed. If you're watching my videos but you have not subscribed, please subscribe to me. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, Read Comics They're Bad For You, then go over to BitChute and subscribe to my BitChute channel, Comic Freak. Hit that bell for notifications, hit that like button, and leave some comments down below. And if you could you please share this video? Share it on Twitter and share it on Facebook. Share it anywhere you think it would do the most good, because because YouTube isn't going around promoting their own YouTube creators anymore, and it would really help me if you could please share this video. Now, keep checking back in future videos for more information on my own upcoming independent comic book Scumdogs. I'm Chris Williams, and I'll be back again tomorrow with another video or review.